Done? Okay, so hi everyone. Good afternoon. कैसे हो सब? बस एकदम बढ़िया. So my name is Karan Mashru and I will be your mentor for this batch DSA Noida 6, and I will tell more about myself later on. So the basic idea behind this session will be, first of all, like we'll go through some why you need to study DSA. Then we'll look at how can this particular course help you. Okay, why you should purchase or focus on this course, right? What are the advantages of that? Then we might look at one of the questions, okay, which is not too tough and neither too easy. Okay, probably everybody would be familiar with arrays, right? So simple question on arrays, so that you can also get to know my teaching style, because what I believe is you should not mug up anything, especially in this subject. Okay, so you'll get an idea of how am I teaching and you'll get more familiar with that. Okay, and you should understand the exact logic or the reason behind what we write, okay, each and every line. So we'll go through one question, and then at the end I'll also make you go through the complete syllabus. Okay, so for the next 16 days, okay, not consecutive, the 16 classes, what syllabus we will be following, what will be the topics, then what is the course material about, how will you get doubt support, then how can you get the best output from this course, okay, according to me, right? And I will also make you go through the course syllabus. Okay, so we'll open the batch link and go through different parts of the course, what is available in the recorded content, etc. Okay, so first of all, if we answer this question, okay, why you should study DSA. So the first thing is, you get a rough idea or a flavor of solving real world problems, right? So for example, if I ask you that you have data of, let's say, 1 lakh cities and 1 lakh roads connecting those cities, and now if I ask you what is the shortest path distance between city X and city Y, right? So you should know how to first of all store the data of this 1 lakh cities, how to store the data of this 1 lakh roads. These roads may have different distances, right? Some road may be, let's say, connecting two cities X and Y, maybe 10 kilometers, another road maybe 8 kilometers, right? There can be multiple roads, multiple cities between two cities. So ultimately you should be able to store the data of the city and then again retrieve what will be the shortest path between those two cities, right? So that's why this becomes very much important. Okay, then another example could be, let's say I give you 1 lakh words to store in the dictionary, and now if I give you a word and ask you how many of the words start with this prefix. Let's say you have 1 lakh words stored in the dictionary. Now if I give you car, and you need to tell all the words that start with car, okay, which are present in the dictionary, something like a recommender system. Okay, so that basic you should be clear, then you can move on to recommender system or something like that. So that's the first motivation. The second thing is, you will definitely develop your problem solving skills and critical thinking, right? So there might be multiple corner cases which you have to look at, right, and handle them. There might be cases which you do not think in the initial time, but when you solve the problem you get wrong answer, and then you think, okay, this case is also possible. So that's another thing. Third, and the most important, which we are all looking at, right, to get hired at top companies, right? Even today, if you look at the hiring round, if you read the articles, recent articles, first is the good afternoon. So hiring process at any company is like generally like, you first of all apply on campus or off campus. Then you first of all you apply on campus or on off campus, then you get the link for the coding round, coding test, then you appear for that test, then the shortlisted people got a call for the interview, and then in the interview again they ask you DSA questions, object oriented programming a little bit, and the projects which you have mentioned in your resume, right? So DSA becomes very important, because if you do not clear the first coding round, there is no point of, like, you do not go to interview only, right? So that's the one thing. Fourth is, again, you need learn to trade off between time and space in computer. So what do I mean by that? It is that, see, when we talk about the efficiency of something on a computer, there are two things which we must take care of, right? One is time and another is memory, right? So how much memory that program is occupying, and another is how much time it is taking, right? So when you are given a particular problem, there are time limits and memory limits within which you need to solve it. If you take more time, then it will give you an error called time limit exceeded, right? Now, why is that important, and why do companies look for that when you solve problems? Because when you are implementing real systems, at that time also you need to implement algorithms which run in minimal time. For example, we all have the experience of purchasing online, right? Now if you go on the payment page, and if it takes 10 minutes to load, then you are not going to buy item from that page, you will probably go to some other page, right? But if you know to trade off between time and space at the DSA level problems, at each individual problem, then that is what companies are looking for. Can you do it here? Then you will be able to do it in real systems also, right? And the fifth one is that companies require different tech stack. Okay, some might be working on Munch tech, some might be working on Spring and Spring Boot, some might be working on, let's say, Python if they are working on data science or machine learning, etc. But if you have solved enough DSA questions, then the fear of coding will go out of you, and you will be able to adapt the new tech stack very easily. So now it's just that you need to learn the syntax of the new tech stack, and once you are familiar with the syntax, then you can the logic part, the coding part, the trade off between time and space, that is already done. It's just that now you have to learn the syntax. So these are some of the main reasons and motivation to learn, right? Now let's move on to the second thing, that why you should purchase this course, okay, and what are the advantages you will get. So the first thing is you will get a well structured course material. Now how does it help? For example, how many of you are like on a how many of you rate yourself as a beginner in DSA? Okay. So if you do not have a well structured course, first of all, what topics are important with respect to placement, that you have to decide, right? Then you, after you decide what topics are important, then you need to learn those topics by googling out, right? So you learn arrays somewhere from somewhere, bit manipulation from somewhere else, then something else from somewhere else. And chances are that first of all you need to know what topics are important. After figuring that out, you need to find the questions based on that. You need to figure out what different variety of questions are there in arrays, and ultimately you need to give a lot of time because you are figuring it out by yourself, right? Rather than that, here you have a well structured course, and we have already taught multiple batches, so we know what's the most important thing. If you go on self studying, then you will probably give time on the things that are least important, and you might also not cover all the topics which are important with respect to placement. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, in the well structured course, you also have a lot of problems which you can solve, okay, and practice. Now these problems cover all the different variety. So these problems cover all the different variety, okay, which are required. And uh, it's, they are not too large in number. It's not that you have 2000 problems to solve. There are limited number of problems which cover all the different varieties at one place. So that is important. Otherwise, let's say you go on some platform and then you filter out questions by yourself, but for that again you need to know which are important for placements, then you need to search for them. So ultimately, that is, this will your time will be saved a lot, because you already have the important questions and all the variety are covered, right? The next thing is, see, when you are doing self study, it's quite difficult to keep yourself motivated, right? And especially when you are going through a tough topic, it might happen that you burn out after some time and you leave it. Here the another advantage you will have is you just need to follow me, okay? So definitely the course will get over after 16 classes, right? So if you just keep on following me and practice the questions of the topics which are discussed in class, your task is done. Whereas in self study, it becomes quite difficult to remain self motivated and cover the things in time, right? So that's the another thing. Third is, I already discussed, you cover all the important topics within 8 weeks, right? Fourth is very important, you have enough time to revise and practice questions after every week. So what do I mean by that is that if you want to get optimal output from this course, then this is my personal suggestion. So every week we will be having classes on Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 4:30, right? So whatever topics are discussed this Saturday and Sunday, before coming to class in the next week, you solve all the questions from the course material of those topics which are discussed. So you have 1 week time to solve those topics. right? So before you come to the next week, that part is already covered. Then after the second week and before the third week, you cover the topics which are discussed in second week, and so on. So every week, whatever is discussed in the two classes, for all the questions related to those topics, you cover it before coming to the next class. If you do in that way, then what will happen is your topics will not get covered up, right? It will, backlog will not come. Okay, so you have time, 1 week time before the next class. So I would suggest that before coming to next class, whatever is taught in this week, you solve all the questions of those topics, right? So in that way, at the end of 8 weeks, all the important topics will be covered, right? Another thing I would like to mention here is, if you are learning a particular topic for the first time, I would highly recommend that you revise after certain time. Okay, like if you keep covering the topics which are covered in the class, but in the sixth week if you do not remember the first week whatever was discussed, then that is of no use, right? So also keep revising at regular intervals. Okay, then you will get doubt support. You will have doubt support every day from Tuesday to Friday. I think it's from 8 to 9 currently, right? On Zoom you can join. Our teaching assistant will be there to help you out, so you can ask your doubts. Okay, other than that, there will also be a symbol of message on every question. You can type your doubt there and you will get a reply very quickly. That's one thing. Otherwise, from Tuesday to Friday there will be live doubt sessions on Zoom. You can join them. Okay, the sixth one is, yes.
Sir, if someone wants to come there, then
Come here in what sense? I didn't got.
if someone wants to come on Tuesday to Thursday to have doubt in person, so will there be anyone?
That would be quite difficult, as there, like I have the other things in the office. If you want to ask doubt to me only, then what you can do is Saturday and Sunday before or after class you can ask me. Okay, after the class gets over at 4:30 you can ask me doubts. But I think the doubt support by TA is very good. If you attend it virtually on Zoom, your doubts will get covered. And if you do not, and that will also have another advantage, that you will not have to wait till Saturday or Sunday, because if doubts start getting accumulated, no, you will start getting demotivated. So I would suggest join doubt session and clear your doubts as soon as possible. Okay, the next thing is you get recorded content as well as recorded lecture. So what do I mean by that is that the founder of GFG, Sandeep Jain sir, his recorded course on DSA, that you will get access along with this. And whatever we are discussing in class, these lectures are also getting recorded. You will also have access to these classes. Okay, and the last thing is you can attend classes physically or virtually. We also allow to join on Zoom. If you want to join from the relaxation at your home, that's completely fine. But it is highly recommended to come here, right? Because we all have habit of opening new tabs every now and then, right? So if you attend virtually, if you are if you are serious enough, then that's okay. But it is highly recommended you come here. Okay, so these are the some of the points. Okay, so I will be your mentor. So some things about me: I have done my BTech in computer engineering from NIT Surat. I myself have solved more than 3,000 problems on different platforms, and I have been rated expert on Code Forces and 5-star on Code Chef. And in multiple Google Kickstart series, I have solved all 4 questions within the given time limit. And you will get more than 500 videos across YouTube, across multiple channels, where I'm explaining different DSA problems. Okay, and I have already taught multiple batches. Okay, and in the current going batch, today only one student gave the news, he got placed in HCL. Okay, my batch student. Okay, so this is about myself. Now we will discuss one problem, and then we'll go in the details of what we will be discussing during the 16 classes. And uh, what is your syllabus like, what is the recorded content like, how can you solve problems. Okay, and a little bit about the platform. Okay, but before moving on to that, if you have any questions till now, you may ask. No questions?
Yeah, maybe like generic type of question. So, with the invent of these AI things like the Devin and all,
Okay.
do you see, the coding career, like we are learning the coding, but would that be required in future, let's say after 10 years from now?
So if I tell you after 10 years, to be very honest, I don't know what will happen. If a professor who is in the AI field from the last 15 years and he can see what will be the output, then that's okay. Me telling something does not make any sense. And someone who is in the industry from 5 6 years, if he also says something, I don't think that will make any sense. So by now it's completely unknown, but as of today it is asked in every interview, right? So if today or after 6 months you want to get placed, or after 1 year, it is still valid. But if you ask me after 10 years, then I don't know, to be honest. And another thing is, I tell this to a lot of students, is that a lot of students ask me that whether there are openings or not, or what is happening, and so on. First thing is, every day on LinkedIn we see posts of openings and people getting placed, right? So, and second thing is, my direct question to the person is, if you have decided to go in this industry only, if you have decided to stay in this industry only, then my question is your resume good enough to give an interview now? Are you getting my point? So if someone is asking, are there opportunities if you have decided to come in this industry only, first of all, make your resume good enough that if I tell you to give interview after 1 hour, you are ready from all point of view. After that, think about whether there are opportunities or not, because once your resume is that good, then you will get an offer from companies, and only you will get a call. Okay, you do not need to worry about it, right? So any questions more? We'll also have a small intro from your end at the end. But now, any questions if you guys have till now?
No, sir.
No questions? Okay, then let's go through one question, and then we'll see the course details, and then we'll also have a small intro about you guys. Okay, so that I can get to know you people better. Okay, so let's try to solve this question. I hope the screen is properly visible, right? Okay, so what does the question say? Find the indexes of a subarray with given sum. Okay, everyone is familiar with arrays? Yes. So let me explain you the question, and then we'll go through line by line. Okay, so what does question say? So here the question says is, you are given an array which contains n elements. Okay, and you are given a sum value, let's say s, and you need to tell whether there exists any subarray of this given array whose sum is equal to s. Everyone is familiar with subarray? So what is subarray? Subarray is nothing but a continuous segment of the array. Okay, for example, if your array is 1 2 3 4 5 6, so any continuous part of this array is called a subarray. For example, 3 4, this is a continuous part, so this is a subarray. For example, 1 2 3 4 5 6, this is also a continuous part, this is also a subarray. 2 3 5, is this a subarray? No. Why? Because this is not a continuous part, because it should be 2 3 4 5, right? So this is not a subarray. So in the question, we are given an array which contains n elements, and we are given a sum. You can call it target sum. And we need to tell whether there exists any subarray whose sum is equals to this sum. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of subarray sum? It means the sum of the elements of that subarray. Okay. Also, during the class, if everyone is good to go with Hindi, I will switch between both the languages. Okay. Right now, I am talking completely in English, but we will be discussing in both the languages. Okay. So let's say if I talk about this subarray, then the subarray sum for this subarray would be 9, because it is 2 plus 3 plus 4, that is 9. So we need to tell a subarray whose sum is equal to this target sum. Okay, and we need to return its indexes. Okay, so for example, if the array is 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, and the indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And let's say your target sum is 9. So this sum is what? 9. So I need to return the starting and ending index of that subarray. So I will return what? 1 and 3, because the starting index of that subarray is 1 and the ending index is 3. Okay. Now let's go through the question line by line. Given an unsorted array A of size n that contains only non-negative integers. What is the meaning of non-negative? There are no negative integers. It may contain 0 and positive integers. Find a continuous subarray that adds to a given number s and return the left and right index 1 based indexing of that subarray. Now, what is the meaning of 1 based indexing? They are trying to say is, if you get an subarray from index 1 to index 3, now this is 0 based indexing. What will be 1 based indexing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you need to return 2, 4. Okay. In the question they are asking 1 based indexing as the output. Okay. In case of multiple subarrays, return the subarray index which comes first on moving from left to right. What does that mean? Let's say this is your array and there is a subarray here whose sum is equal to the target sum, and there is also a subarray here whose sum is equal to the target sum. So if you have multiple subarrays whose sum is equal to the target sum, then you need to return the one which has smaller starting index. So you will return L1 and R1. Let's say this is L2 and R2. So you will return what? L1 and R1, because there are multiple possible answers. So in that case, you will return the subarray details with the smallest starting index. You have to return an array list consisting of two elements, left and right, meaning you need to return a vector in case you are using C++ and array list in case you are using Java. And in that array list, you need to return the left and right, means starting and ending index of that subarray. Okay. And in case no such subarray exists, then you need to return what? -1. So if there is no subarray whose sum is equal to the target sum, then you will return -1. That's the question. Let's look at the example. For example, this array contains 5 elements and the target sum is 12. Now, here there are two subarrays whose sum is equal to 12. One is 237 and another is 75. But which has smaller starting index? 237. So we will return the starting and ending index of that subarray. What is the starting and ending index of that subarray? 1 and 3. But in the question they have asked 1 based indexing. So we will return 2 and 4. Clear? Okay. This is the next question. Here from 1 to 5th index you will get the sum as 15. Okay. So they have returned 1 and 5. What does this say? You don't need to read input or print anything. The task is to complete this function which takes array n, that is the number of elements, s, that is the target sum, as input parameters, and returns an array list containing the starting and ending positions of first occurring such subarray from the left where sum equals to s. Okay. So basically we do not have to worry about taking input and printing output. That is taken care by the driver code. Okay, I will show it to you right now. We only have to complete the function subarray sum, in which in the input we have array, target sum and the number of elements in the array, right? And this is the same thing. The two indexes in the array should be according to 1 based indexing, and if no such subarray found, return an array consisting of -1. The expected time complexity is big of n and expected auxiliary space is constant. If you are not familiar with these terms, don't worry, we will be starting off with time and space complexity only in the first class. Okay. And then the constraints are given. The size of the array can at max go till 10 ki power 5. Array of I value can go up till 10 ki power 9, and the target sum can also go up till 10 ki power 9. Now, how does the constraint affect us? That you will know in case you know time complexity and space complexity. If you do not know, that's nothing to worry about right now. Okay. You can also see some company text in which this question was asked, then topic text to which topic this question is related to, and so on. Okay. So basically, if I show you this, see, if I click here, So here if I click, can you see they have written this code, right? So the number of test cases, then for every test case the number of elements in the target sum, then this input array, all of this they have taken care. Okay, clear hai? What we need to do is, in this subarray sum we are given a vector array which contains n elements and the target sum is s. We need to complete this function and return a vector containing the starting and ending index of that subarray. Clear hai yahan tak? Okay, so this is the question. Now we'll think about the solution, but till now if you have any doubt in the question, let me know. No doubts? Sure. Okay, so here see, what I want is, I want to find a subarray whose sum is equal to the target sum, right? So first of all, how many subarrays are there total if the array size is n? If my array size is n, how many subarrays will be there? Yes, how many? Think about it. Any idea? See, subarray is a continuous part, right? 2 to the power how? But subsets can have non-continuous elements. Subarray can't have. So total number of subsets will be 2 की power n, but not subarrays. Okay? N minus 1, no. See, you do not need to remember it. See, how can you do it? For example, if you have an array 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now what is, no. What is a subarray? It is a continuous part of the array. So can I say 1 alone, 2 alone, 3 alone and 4 alone? These are all the subarrays of size 1. Now, can I say 1, 2, 2, 3 and 3, 4? These are subarrays of size 2. Can I say 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4? These are subarrays of size 3. And can I say 1, 2, 3, 4 is a subarray of size 4? Any more subarrays are possible? No. Right? So, one size subarray, how many are there? 4. 2 size, 3 size and 4 size. So the total number of subarrays where the array size is 4 is how much? 10. So if my array size is n, then how many subarrays of size n will be there?
N plus 1 by 2.
Yeah, that's the total number of subarrays. So if your array size is n, how many subarrays with size n is there? 1. Like here we had only one 4 size subarray, so that will be 1. How many subarrays of size n minus 1? 2. Here we had 2 subarrays of size 3, right? How many subarrays of size n minus 2? And so on. How many subarrays of size 1? N, because you can take every single element. So the total number of subarrays is 1 plus 2 plus 3 up till n, which is nothing but these are the number of subarrays, right? So what can be the way to solve my problem? One method could be, I find out the sum of all the subarrays of n into n plus 1 by 2. And for every subarray, when I calculate the sum, I compare it with my target sum. And if that sum is equal to the target sum, then I will return the starting and ending index of that subarray, right? But for that, I need to calculate n into n plus 1 by 2 subarray sum, which is very costly from time point of view. We discussed time and space are two important things in computer program. So if you calculate all the subarray sum, it will be very costly. So we need to think of something more efficient, right? Because there are this many subarrays, the amount of work done or the number of steps will be proportional to n square. Okay, here if you look at the leading term, what is the leading term? N square, if you remove the constants and all. So the time complexity in this case when you calculate all the subarray sum will be big of n square. Okay, in case if you do not know about this notation, no need to worry, but it will be very inefficient. So we need to think of something more efficient approach. यहां तक clear है? Any doubt? Okay. So now what we will do is, see यहाँ पे time क्यों ज्यादा लग रहा है? Because we are calculating the sum of all these subarrays. So if somehow if we can logically reduce the number of subarrays जिनका sum हम calculate करेंगे, तो हमारा time भी कम हो जाएगा. Are you getting my point? Here in brute force method we are calculating the sum of all these subarrays. If we can logically think something and reduce the number of subarrays जिनका sum मैं calculate करूंगा, then my time will also reduce, right? So now that is my target. Now how can I reduce that? See, here what they have told in the question, that you have only what? Non-negative integers, right? Now tell me one thing, let's take three cases. Let's say this is your array and let's say you have calculated the subarray sum for this subarray starting at index L and ending at index R. Now there can be three cases. Okay, so let me just draw it two more times. L to R, and third one is again L to R. Okay, the first case is that the sum of the subarray from L to R is equal to target sum. Okay, so if it is equal to target sum, I can return the value of L and R directly. हमें यही फाइंड करना था ना, एक सबएरे जिसका सम टारगेट सम के बराबर हो. So if the sum of that subarray is equal to the target sum, I can directly return that subarray starting and ending index, right? What can be the other two cases? The sum of this subarray is greater than target sum, and third case is it is less than the target sum. Now you tell me, let's take the second case. This is my array, this is the subarray from L to R, and the sum of this subarray is greater than target sum, let's say. Okay, clear है यहां तक? Yes, any doubt? Okay, feel free to ask the doubts. Okay, so if the sum of this subarray is greater than the target sum, now tell me यहाँ पे सिर्फ नॉन नेगेटिव इंटीजर्स है, मतलब या तो जीरो या तो पॉजिटिव एलिमेंट्स. So if I increase this subarray size, let's say I talk about L2, so L से लेके R तक के subarray का sum greater than target sum है. If I increase the subarray size, that is L to R plus 1, इसका sum क्या होगा? Obviously greater than target sum होगा, because L से लेके R तक का sum greater than target sum है, and we have only non-negative integers. So if I include one more element, then this sum is greater than equal to L to R, and this sum is greater than target sum. So this sum is definitely greater than target sum. So why should we calculate this subarray sum? Are you getting my point? What I was telling, we will logically reduce the number of subarrays जिनका sum हमें calculate करना है. So we will not calculate the sum from L to R plus 1, right? Then shall we calculate L to R plus 2? No. Shall we calculate L to R plus 3? No. Shall we calculate L minus 1 to R? No. Because if L to R is greater than target sum, L minus 1 to R is obviously greater than target sum. So in this way, we will L minus 2 to R plus 1, then L minus 2 to R. All these subarrays will have sum greater than target sum. So we will not calculate their values. Clear hai? This is the second case. So we logically reduce the number of subarrays जिनका sum हम calculate कर रहे थे, right? Now let's look at the third case.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. I have one doubt.
Yes.
This is Utkarsh. सर मुझे ये जैसे आपने इसमें बताया कि L R अगर ये ग्रेटर देन है सब, तो यहाँ हम लोग प्री अज्यूम करके चल रहे हैं ना, ये एरे लाइक सॉर्टेड है ऑलरेडी.
नहीं, सॉर्टेड नहीं होगा. अगर मान लो आपका L से लेके R तक का सम 20 है और आपका टारगेट सम 15 है, अब आप L से लेके R+1 का सब एरे लोगे तो उसमें L से लेके R तक के एलिमेंट्स तो है ही। अब आपने R+1 एलिमेंट लिया और क्वेश्चन में क्या दिया है, नॉन नेगेटिव इंटीजर्स, मतलब R+1 एलिमेंट जो आपने लिया उसकी वैल्यू ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 0 होगी, तो L से लेके R+1 का सम ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 20 ही होगा। आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? फिर वो चाहे शॉर्टेड हो या ना हो, और क्वेश्चन में पहली ही लाइन में मेंशन किया है कि अनशॉर्टेड है, राइट? ओके, now the third case is, let's say the sum of a subarray from L to R is less than target sum. Now tell me, if the sum from L to R is less than target sum, then what can be the conditions here, like how we discussed there? How can we here also neglect some subarrays? L to R-1, then so anything in between L to R. So can I say L+1 to R is also less than equal to L to R, which is less than S, right? So we can also neglect this subarray. Okay, that I like that you were now able to think by yourself by looking at that case. Okay, that's the motive. We do not want to solve 1,000 questions here. We want to develop the thinking ability. So from L+2 to R will also be less than target sum. From L+3 to R will also be less than target sum. So we will neglect all these subarrays. Okay. So this is the concept. Now we will think about implementing it. But any doubt till here? No doubt? Okay. So now how will we implement it? So what we will do is, see, this is my given array. So I will start with L equals to R equals to 0. So I am only considering the first element. Okay. So I am considering only the first element. Okay. I am drawing it separately for better visualization. Now, there were two things. One is we want to increase the subarray size, and another is we want to decrease the subarray size. Why we want to do that? See, if your subarray sum is equal to target sum, we will directly return it. If the subarray sum is greater than target sum, then we need to reduce the size of the subarray. Because if the sum of this subarray is, let's say, 20 and the target sum is 10, so we need to remove some elements, right? And if the sum of the subarray from L to R is less than target sum, then we need to increase the size of the subarray. We need to add more elements. Let's say the sum is 10 and the target sum is 20, then we need to add more elements to make it equal to 20. Clear? So what we will do is, let's say we consider L equals to R equals to 0 initially, means we are only considering the first element in the subarray. If the sum of this subarray is less than target sum, okay, let's say third case, so we need to increase the subarray size. So how will I increase this? I will increase it by increasing the value of R. Okay, so my subarray will become this. Let's say this is still less than target sum, so I'll again increase the value of R. Okay, let's say this is still less than the target sum, so I'll again increase the subarray size. Okay, let's say it is still less than target sum. Okay, so I'll again increase the subarray size. Now let's say this is greater than target sum. So how will I decrease the subarray? By increasing the value of L. So this is your subarray. Let's say this is your subarray under consideration right now. If I want to increase the subarray, then I will increase R. So the subarray will become larger. And if I want to decrease the subarray, I will increase L. So the subarray will become smaller. Can you visualize it? Right? So let's say this is greater than the target sum. So my L from here will move here. So now my subarray will be what? This much. Let's say this is still greater than target sum. So I'll again increase L. So my subarray will become what? This much. Now let's say this is equal to target sum. So we will return it. Okay. So we'll start with L equals to R equals to 0. And if the target sum is greater, if the sum of the subarray under consideration right now is less than the target sum, then we'll increment R and increment the size of the subarray. And if it is greater than the target sum, then we'll decrement the subarray by increasing L. Okay, and any point of time, if we match the target sum, we will return the indexes. Okay, now this will require big O of n time. Why? Because your L will loop from 0 to n minus 1 once, because L is increasing whenever the subarray sum is more than target sum, and your R is increasing whenever your subarray sum is less than target sum. So L will go from 0 to n minus 1 at max, and R will go from 0 to n minus 1. So basically 2 loops will be used. Okay, so it will be big O of 2n, but 2 is constant, which you can neglect in big O notation in case you know about it. So your time complexity will be big O of n. That was n square. What does it basically mean is, there n square number of steps were happening, here n number of steps will be happening. Okay, in very simple terms. So for example, if your array size was 10, if I calculate all the sub arrays sum, then the number of steps will be some multiple of 100, and here the number of steps would be some multiple of 10. So the number of steps reduced, right? So that's the target. Now we will start coding it, but if you have any doubt till here in the concept, let me know. No doubt?
जितने भी नंबर n नंबर्स हैं, अगर लेटेस्ट हमारा सम जो टारगेटेड सम है वो 9 दिया है, और हमारे जो पहले हमने जो माना उस पे नंबर मतलब 2 है,
हाँ,
तो हम पहले अगर साइज बढ़ा दिए सब एरे का 2, तो फिर वो 9 कैसे हम कंसीडर?
I didn't got the point. The first element of the array is 2. Target sum is 9. How many elements are there in the array? Okay, 5 elements. Let us take the example. There are 5 elements in the array. The first is 2. Target sum is 9. Yes, now?
And last element is 9.
Last is 9. Okay.
जैसे हम पहले 2 पर चेक किए और
हाँ,
उसके अगले बढ़ गए,
हाँ.
तो फिर 9 कैसे मैच होगा?
See. Okay, we'll dry run on this. Let's take some example here. Let's say this is let's say 4. Okay, let's say this is 11, and let's say this is 3. Okay, now your L equals to R equals to 0 initially. So your sum is how much? 2. 2 is less than 9, so you will increase R. So your L will be 0, R will be 1. So your sum would be 6. Now L will be 0, R will be 2, because 6 is still less than 9. So your sum will become 17. 11 plus 2 plus 4. Right? Now this is greater than target sum. So your L will become 1, R will become 2. So your sum will become, sorry, 11 plus 4, 15, because you removed 2, na? Now again it is more than target sum, so L equals to 2, R equals to 2. So your target sum will become 11. This is still more than target sum, so again you increase L, and now it became more than R. So basically now there is no element left in the subarray, right? So L is 3 and R is 2. So your sum is how much? 0. Now 0 is less than 9. So when it is less than 9, what we do? Increase R. So if you increase R, your L will be 3 and R will be 3. So your sum will be how much? 3. Right? Now again this is less than target sum. So your L will be 3, R will be 4. So your sum will become 12. This is more than target sum. So we increase L. So your L equals to 4, R equals to 4, and your sum will be 9. And now you return the value of L and R. Right? But why are we starting with L equals to 0 and R equals to 0? I'll give you an example. In case here it was 7, then we need to return the details of this subarray because it is occurring first. So when your L will be 0 and R will be 0, your sum would be how much? 2. Then you will increment R, so R will become 1 and your sum will become 9, and here only you will return that. Clear hai? Any doubt? Okay, no doubt still here. Okay, we'll move further for writing the code. Now here we need to handle one test case separately. Okay, we need to write code for that separately. What is that test case? In case your target sum is 0, then how is it possible to get a subarray sum 0? When an element itself is 0. If the target sum is 0, you just traverse through the array, and if you get an element whose value is 0, then that element itself is a subarray, right? So that we need to write code separately. Okay, so now let's write the code for this question. Okay, and what we will do is, whatever discussion we had, okay, that logical discussion we will convert it into code. Okay, so no need to mug up the code for anything. You can always generate it from the logic if you have good practice. Okay, so what we need to return here? Vector. In this subarray sum function, what is the return type? Vector int. So I will take vector. Okay, how many of you know what is a vector? How many of you do not know? Okay, so vector is basically a dynamic size array. Okay, for example, if you take int a of 10, then the size is fixed 10. What does vector means? You can keep on adding element and it will keep increasing its size. So that is dynamically you are increasing the size. Okay, this facility is given by programming language. Why? So that wastage of space is less. Okay, and more proper usage is there. For example, if you take an array of size 100, and if you use only 30 elements, then 70 space is wasted. And if you take an array of size 100 but you want to store 200 items, then also there is problem. So that's why this facility of dynamic size array is given by programming language, where when you remove or add the elements, the size get resized. Okay, so there is no wastage of space. Okay, so this is my vector answer. In this, I need to add what? Starting and ending index of the subarray whose sum is equal to the target sum. Okay. Now, so what I can do is I can take L and R, and I can take one sum variable whose initial value will be 0. Right. Now, what I will do is I will say for R equals to 0, R is less than N, R plus plus. Okay, sum is equals to sum plus array of R. So what am I doing is, at every step I am increasing the subarray by size 1 from the right hand side. Okay, so let's say I kept on increasing and the size became 10 now. Okay, and this sum is greater than the target sum, so I need to decrease the size. So how much I need to decrease the size? I need to keep increasing L until the sum is either equal to target sum or less than target sum. Till that time I need to decrease the subarray size. So what I will write here, while sum is greater than target sum, sum is equals to sum minus array of L. You are removing the Lth element. The subarray was from L to R. Now you are making it L plus 1 to R. So the Lth element has been removed. So you need to remove that Lth element sum from the sum variable. Are you getting my point? For example, the subarray sum was 20, which is under consideration right now. Now if you increment L and the first element was 4, then the remaining subarray sum is how much? 16. So you need to decrease that 4 also ना. ये कितनों को clear हुआ? Clear है? Okay, just a second, let me explain it a bit. So for example, if this is your subarray under consideration, this is 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the sum of this subarray? 14. Let's say your target sum is 7. Okay, so now you make L equals to L plus 1. Okay, but so you need to remove 2 from your sum. Your sum will become what? 12. Then when you again make L equal to L plus 1, you need to remove 3 from your sum. It will become 9. Right? So that is what I am telling. While your sum is greater than target sum, remove the Lth index element and do L plus plus. Okay. Now when I come out of this while loop, there are two possibilities. Either the sum is equal to the target sum or it is less than the target sum. Because if it is greater than the target sum, then we are still in the loop only. We will not come out. Are you getting my point? So if we have come out, it means either the sum is equal to the target sum or less than target sum. So if the sum is equals to the target sum, then in that case I need to add the starting and ending index of this subarray. So what I will do, I will say answer dot pushback. So if I want to add an element at the end in a vector, then I need to use the pushback function. Okay, like in array list you have add. Okay, for those people who used Java. So I will say pushback L plus 1 and answer dot pushback R plus 1, because that is the starting and ending index of that subarray. And I will break out of this loop because I only need to return the first subarray. So I will immediately break out. Okay, I hope everyone knows what is the meaning of break, right? We will come out of the loop, further iterations will not happen. And in case the sum is not equal to the target sum, then what will happen? See, if we are at line 26, then the sum is either equal to the target sum or less than target sum. So if it is not equal and if it is less than target sum, what will happen? We will go in the next iteration and we will add the rth element. So subarray will increase from right hand side, and that is what we wanted to do. Whenever the sum was less than target sum, we wanted to increase the subarray. Clear hai? Okay, so now one thing which we need to do is, first of all I need to initialize L with 0, right? R का initialization तो for loop में हो रहा है, but L का नहीं हो रहा, so I need to initialize that. Another thing, if there is no subarray with given target sum, what I needed to return? -1. So can I say if answer dot empty is true, मतलब कि जो आंसर वेक्टर है वो एम्प्टी है, उसमें कोई एलिमेंट्स नहीं है. अब उसमें एलिमेंट्स कब नहीं होंगे? जब हम इस इफ कंडीशन के अंदर कभी नहीं गए होंगे, राइट? इसका मतलब हमें ऐसा सब एरे नहीं मिला होगा. तो इफ द आंसर एरे इज एम्प्टी, देन वी विल डू व्हाट? आंसर डॉट पुशबैक -1, and finally we will return the answer vector. Okay, now why I did here L plus 1 and R plus 1? Because it was asked one based indexing. So this is your general code. What is the extra case I told you we need to write separately? If the target sum is 0. So I will write here, if target sum is 0, then simply loop over the array and check whether there is an element with value 0. So I can say for L equals to 0, L is less than n, L plus plus, if array of L is 0, then that single element subarray starting at index L and ending at index R, that is only the subarray, right? So I can say what? Answer dot pushback, starting index of this subarray is L plus 1 and ending index is, yes, L plus 1. There is no R. भाई टारगेट सब जब टारगेट सम 0 ढूंढ रहे हैं, तब हम क्या ढूंढ रहे हैं कि एरे में कोई ऐसा एलिमेंट है जिसकी खुद की वैल्यू 0 है. तो जो वन साइज का सब एरे होता है उसका स्टार्टिंग एंड एंडिंग इंडेक्स सेम होता है. Let's say we are looking at third index element, so its starting index is also 3 and ending index is also 3. There is only one element in that subarray, index at L, right? So I can write L plus 1, L plus 1, and I will break. Now if I do not get any element with value 0, then my answer vector would be empty. So I can say answer dot pushback -1, and here I will return answer from here only. Are you getting my point? So if I look at the code, so first here I have covered the case when the target sum is 0, right? And here I have covered the remaining cases. Okay, clear hai? Now let's try to, यहाँ पे एक और गलती हो सकती है. Let's see. I'll ask you people, where are we missing out? Okay, तो इसमें तो पास हो गया sample input में. I hope you people are familiar with this. So when you do compile and run, it runs on a small input. Okay, and if you get correct output in this, then you can submit your code and it will run on big inputs. Okay, where the constraints are large. Here I have passed all the test cases. So this is basically showing me the accuracy of out of 27 attempts, 10 attempts are correct. Okay, time taken is 0.47 seconds. Okay, and then the other thing is there. But any doubt in this, let me know, and then I'll also tell you where this could have gone wrong. In this case it didn't went, but it may go wrong somewhere, I'll tell you. But any doubt in this, let me know. No doubt? See, where it could have gone wrong, I'll tell you. Here, what is this type? Long, and what we are taking sum as integer. So the target sum is long, so it might be possible that when we add a lot of array elements to our sum variable, okay, that may overflow the value. मतलब कि integer की जो range होती है उससे बाहर चली जाती value. तो in that case we would have garbage value. Okay, so it would be suggested that you take the sum variable also as long, so it does not get overflow. Okay, so that was about this question. Tell me if you have any doubt in this. No doubts? Yes. See, if there are no doubts, it means either everything is clear or nothing is clear. Okay, so what should I assume? Clear? Okay, great. Okay, so that was about the question. So I picked a question which was neither too easy nor too hard. Okay, it was a medium level question, and these are the level of questions which you can expect in interview. They are not going to ask you way something out of the planet, right? Because they are there to hire you. They are not to just ask you things randomly, whatever, right? So this are the level of questions in arrays. Then you can expect again from graphs, dynamic programming, and a lot of things. Okay, so that was about the question. Now let's go to the syllabus, and then some more points which I want to tell you, and at the end we'll have a small interaction as well. Okay, so basically this will be your syllabus. Okay, roughly you may have a look at it. So the first one will be, we will be looking at the time and space complexity analysis, how we calculate time and space, like you saw big O notation, and also what does they mean. The second is and we will also start with arrays. Okay, then the second class would be arrays part 2 and bit manipulation questions. The third class would be on stack data structure. The fourth class would be on recursion and backtracking. The fifth class would be on searching and sorting part 1. Sixth would be on sorting part 2. Seventh will be on hashing and some string basics. Eighth would be on queues and DQ. Then ninth class would be on linked list. 10th and 11th, both the classes will be on trees and graphs. Then 12th class will be on binary search trees. 13th class will be on greedy algorithms, and 14th class will be on segment trees. And last two classes will be on dynamic programming and advanced string algorithms. So in advanced string algorithm, there is only one algorithm to discuss, that is KMP algorithm. For those of you who have heard it, it is a string searching algorithm. So that will be the plan. Now the classes might go up or down a bit according to if we have spent more than required time in some class, I might take some topic which is taking less time up, and the topic which requires a full class down. But that you do not need to worry. More or less the flow will be like this only. Probably this dynamic programming might come in week 7, class 1 and class 2. Okay, otherwise these topics will be covered, and we will be maintaining a sheet like this. So these are the questions which were discussed in class 1. Here I have marked classwork and homework. Okay, what was discussed in class, what you have to do at homework. Similarly for class 2, class 3, class 4, and so on. And now I have also started adding the links of the solution code here. Okay, so in the last batch it was not done fully, but for your batch, after every class I'll add the solution code links here, so you can have a look at the solutions. Okay, so this will be the format. Okay, so for the previous batch 15 classes are done. Okay, only one class is left, which will be tomorrow. So we will be maintaining something like this. Now let me make you go through this batch page. Okay, so you will get access to this batch page. Okay, these are some of the rules for the 390 challenge and all. You can have a look at that. The batch will start from the next Saturday. Timing will be from 2 to 4:30, and doubt sessions will be from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. from Tuesday to Friday. You'll get the Zoom link. Okay, now these are some of the important things. So if we look at the chapters, so here there are some notes, assignments, projects, and here is the important part, that is the self-paced resources. Okay, so I'll make you go through one thing in this. So here you have all complete data structures algorithms recorded course by Sandeep sir, okay, who is the founder of Geeks for Geeks. So this is introduction in mathematics, this is data structures part, okay, and this is the algorithms part, right? Now we will go in deep for one topic, that is shorting, like what are the things inside that which you have, okay. So your,
हेलो
yes,
सर, क्या 2 months इनफ होगा डीएसए के लिए?
if you are willing to, then it will be enough, otherwise not. Okay, if you follow after every class, as I told, whatever is discussed in today's class in this week, if you solve the questions from those topics before coming to the next week, at the end of 8 weeks you will cover all the important topics, okay. And let's take 12 weeks maximum in case you lag somewhere in between, right? But I always give this example, okay. So I remember one example from this question, so let me tell you. Okay, this is an interesting example which all of us have faced, okay. So let's say you want to go on a trip after 1 week on 30th, okay. Today is 23rd, okay. So how many days you will take to pack your bags? 7 days. You will pack little everything, and let's say there is an emergency and you need to leave tomorrow, tonight 10. How much time it will take? The same things you will pack within 3 hours, right? So more the time you give to something, more it will extend, okay. That is the point what I'm trying to make. If you want to leave tomorrow morning somewhere, you will pack the bags in one night also. If you want to leave after 1 week, you will pack everything slowly, little every day, right? So I'm not telling you take 3 days to complete the DSA, but 2 to 3 months is a good enough time. That is what I'm telling. If you target 2 months, you will finish by 3 months. If you target 6 months, you will finish by 8 months, okay. So that is what I'm trying to tell. Now I hope your question is answered. Okay, so let's move further. So this is the shorting part, right? So here you have this recorded content by Sandeep sir, okay. So you can have a look at this question, this videos, okay. Then this is the most important part. What is this? Problems, right? So these are the problems based only on shorting. So you look here, there are 21 problems only on shorting. So you can imagine the number of problems. For searching, you have 18, here you have 21, here you have 22, here you have 6 problems, right? So there are good enough number of problems to practice questions from, right? And it also covers all the different varieties. And from this material only, we will try to cover as many different possible varieties of questions possible in the class itself, so that the remaining questions you can attempt at home, okay. Obviously we can't discuss every question in class, right? And also with every question, if you hover over it, you get the company's name in which it was asked, okay. So you can have an idea there, okay. So when I click here, okay, so this is the question you can attempt. So there are a lot of questions to practice from, okay. And here so these are the questions which I'm talking about. If we have covered shorting in class, then before coming to the next week, your target should be to solve these 21 problems at least, okay. So now two more important things. The first thing is you target this material first of all, okay. Don't go to other platforms. Clear hai? We all have done this mistake in 11th 12th. Do I need to remind it? Yes, we were joined a coaching institute, they gave us a material, they were discussing that in class, and we were solving some other book, right? We were neither able to complete that material and neither able to solve that book, because that book was not discussed in class, right? The better idea is the material which is provided, which is made based on years of experience, and it is tried and tested. So the first target is to complete that, because that has been discussed in the class, okay. So your first target should be to solve all the questions from this material. If time permits, you can search SDE sheet Geeks for Geeks, okay. And here you have all the topics you can search. Let's say you finished shorting, so you go to searching and shorting and try to solve these questions, okay. So the first and foremost target is the material which is provided. Second target should be SD sheet. After that, if time permits, let me know, but most probably time will not remain. Okay. Yeah, so that's about the course page. Okay, you can have a look at it by yourself also, this self-paced resources. And now some points to keep in mind from my end, which I would like to tell, that first is you need to be patient, right? It takes time. Okay, but once you get in the flow, then the flow will go. Okay, it's like studying physics for the first time in class 11. You remember the faculty was telling that the molecules are moving up and down during heat transfer, and you were like, what's happening, है ना? So it might happen, but again it takes time, and once you are with the flow, then it things are easy, right? So after 11 in 12th, electrostats were quite easy for us in physics, right? Why? Because we were in the flow. The second is there will be many ups and downs. Again, you might not feel very well or comfortable while solving the questions, but remember, when you are feeling uncomfortable, that is the time you will be growing. Okay. The third point is also important. There are many platforms which held competitions like Code Forces, Code Chef, even Geeks4Geeks has weekly coding contest. Lead Code has. I would suggest during the initial time period, don't focus much on participating in contest, because you are not going to solve many questions. Okay. So instead of giving 2-3 hours to the competition, not solving questions and getting demotivated, if you give the same time to learning and covering new topics, then that will help a lot. So during the initial phase of learning, your focus should be on learning and covering more topics, and later on you can focus on participating in competitions. Okay, now this is with respect to competitions, but let's not go into that topic. Okay, the fifth point is also quite important. If you have a group of 2 to 3 people, then if you like, it's always good to have a group of 2-3 people while solving DSA problems. So at least one of the person solves a particular problem and then discusses. Okay, so you don't get demotivated. Okay, if you are motivated enough, it's there is no problem. Okay, be consistent. Okay, don't miss the flow, and before each question, spend a considerable amount of time before looking at its solution, because if you directly look at the solution, your thinking ability will not improve, right? And one more thing, if you are not consistent, this is what I have observed. After the first 2-3 weeks, if people get a backlog, what I mean to say is they have not revised it, or it got accumulated, right? And recursion is not revised, let's say, then after that they start losing the classes, because they don't feel like keeping it up. Okay, so there are two suggestions in this. First is, try that if you cannot solve all the questions from that topic, at least revise and solve the questions which are discussed in class. So if there are 5 questions discussed in class, before coming to the next class, at least you should be familiar with those 5 questions and the concepts involved in that, even if you do not solve new questions on that topic, right? So that in the next class you understand things, because this syllabus is made in such a way that things are linked up one after the other, especially after recursion and backtracking. If your recursion is not clear, all the topics after that require recursion, right? So that is one thing. And second thing is, even if you have missed, like not revised the previous class and you are not confident, don't miss the class. Okay, don't think that I will revise that before the next week and also watch the video of current class and then together come in the next class. No, don't miss the class. That's the important thing, and try to come physically. Okay, that's better than virtually. Otherwise, in virtually also, from our end, the experience would be the best only, but it will depend upon you whether you are staying focused on the laptop in a live class or not, right? So yeah, that's everything from my end. If you have any questions, you may ask.
One question. So the question we solved, is there any specific reason we chose vector instead of parallels?
Because we were solving it using C++. In C++, there is vector. If we were solving it using Java, we would have used array list.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, okay.
सर आप किस में कराएंगे?
So I can do in both the languages. I usually do in C++ in the class, but I also have the solution code available in Java and Python as well. So in case anyone wants to look at the code, I can show. But I cannot code in all the 3 languages from scratch, because that will take a lot of time. Ideally, what I do is, if the topic is quite hard or the question is quite good, then I write the code from the scratch, so you know how that code is developed. But if the question is quite easy or straightforward, then I ask the class, shall I take the code directly and explain? So that saves a bit of time. Okay, so we'll be coding in one language, but yes, I do have the solution code for all the three languages. And you can also do that. Like if I give you the C++ code, you can just put it in chat GPT and get the Java code, right? So that's not a big deal now. And mm, uh, no, so that's a important question. And see, we will be looking at the concepts or pseudocode. That's the most important part, right? And if you go to the good companies, they do not focus on language because they have quite a good amount of time to train you in whatever they want. Okay, they are looking at your problem solving ability. But having said that, knowing at least one of the three, C++, Java, or Python, is an advantage, because I have seen in online coding test that all the companies allow multiple languages, but these three languages are always there, right, in the coding test. So let's say you go with Rust, but it is not allowed then, right? So all these three languages are usually there. And unless and until company is hiring for a very specific role, for example, in between I saw a contest on HackerEarth where the company was hiring for a Kotlin developer role. They gave only Kotlin language they were allowing, right? But for in general, if you know one of the three, then that's good to go for DSA. Okay. Is it worth investing time in learning web dev when we can create websites using AI? So if you have a bug in a website, okay, in your code, and if that is quite complex, unless and until you know what's happening, you will not be able to solve that bug, right? So definitely you make the use of AI and make the work faster. But today, if we look at today's date, okay, right now, then it is important. Okay, that is what I would say. Okay, yes, any more doubts? Please ask all the doubts you have. Huh? Don't shy.
Sir, I have this suggestions like if most of the folks are comfortable with one language like Java, C++, we can vote. So you can continue with that particular language.
Yeah, I was
Class.
thinking to ask that question.
Yeah, in chat only if we can.
No, but
So-
there are a lot of people present physically as well. So
Yeah,
let's
you
see.
can
Let
ask.
me ask. So, how many are comfortable with C++? Java? Okay, then we'll continue with C++, but I'll also have the code for Java. Okay, we have more people for C++, right? Okay, any more questions? Yes, guys? Yes, you have any doubt? No? No one has any doubt? Okay, then let's have a small intro from your end, one by one. Okay, so tell me your name and whether you are working professional or a student or what you are doing right now, and how do you rate yourself on a basis of 10 in DSA. Okay.
Sir, my name is Anupam Ratanpal. I'm working as an assistant professor in Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, and I will rate myself at 7.5 or 8.
Okay.
My name is Anubhav. I am currently in my final semester of BCA. Right now, with it, I was teaching for SSC for a few days back, and I would rate myself 4 or 5 in DSA.
Okay.
My name is Pravesh Yadav. I am currently doing BSc CS and I am doing rating 2 out of 8.
Okay.
My name is Abhishek.
Just a second, guys. So I'm asking the people who are physically present here first. Okay. Yes.
My name is Abhishek Sharma. I am currently working as a QA engineer in BFSI domain,
Okay.
and I will rate myself 2 out of 10.
Myself, Tushar Agrawal. I'm working as a module lead in Pine Labs.
Okay.
As a full stack developer.
Payment.
Yes.
Okay. And where do you rate yourself?
5.
Okay.
I'm Abhishek Varma. I'm just in the fresher. I graduated in 2022,
Okay.
and I have taken 2 out of 10 in
Okay.
this.
Yes.
My name is Subarray. I did my post graduation in MCA. Currently, I'm studying for PhD.
Oh, okay. And how would you rate yourself in DSA?
Sir.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I am Shivai. I am a data scientist at ComScore and I would rate myself 1 or -1.
No worries. Yes.
My name is Shivam Kumar and I am pursuing my BTech first year. I am first year student and right now I am
Right now?
exploring too.
Okay.
My name is Rahul and I am also from first year student.
Okay.
My name is Sagar. I am a first year student of CSE branch and I also rate myself as 1 or 2.
Yes.
My name is Sachin Chaurashya and I am a final year computer sciences student. And recently I have placed in CR Infotech.
Good.
I am rating myself 3 out of 10.
Okay.
for this.
My name is Veer Kumar. I'm passed last year I'm passed out. And I will rate myself to 7 to 8.
Yes.
Hello everyone. So my name is Ishita Singhal. I'm working in Expedia and I was joined recently. ST1.
Okay.
I rate myself
3.
3.
Okay.
My name is Mishra. I'm pursuing my BTech second year. I rate myself to.
Okay.
I am Divyamnal. I'm currently pursuing BTech second year. I will also rate myself 2. I am Nikhil Kaushik. I am also a second year student. I'm beginner, so I will rate 2.
My name is Palak. I'm working as a software engineer at SAP India and I would rate myself around 6.5.
Okay. Last.
So hello everyone, I am Shivam Sharma. I will be your teaching assistant.
Okay. Okay. So nice guys. So yes, we now one more question I wanted to ask is I hope everyone is familiar with the one of the programming language. Like everyone knows about loops, if else condition, calling functions, passing arrays to functions, etc. Anyone not familiar much? No, because probably before we start the batch we might also have some foundation classes where it will be during evening time where a teaching assistant will teach you virtually on a Zoom meet, so I can plan things accordingly. So like in the last batch there were some people who were not quite familiar, so I planned C++ basics in the one video and in the next some basics of array, right? So what should I do? Anyone not familiar with the loops, if else condition, calling of functions? Because if you are not familiar with that and if we go in that in the class, then we will lag behind a lot, right? So you should be at least in the flow with how are we declaring variables, what is the loop doing, what is the if else condition doing, how are we calling functions. Yes, everyone, anyone? शर्माओ मत, बता दो, नहीं आता तो उसमें क्या है? क्लास 10th के कितने आप बैचमेट्स के कनेक्शन में हो अभी? क्लास 10 में से अभी कितने बैचमेट्स के कनेक्शन में हो आप, मतलब अच्छे से, नॉट ऑन फेसबुक, रेगुलरली बात होती है? कितने, 2-3 होंगे? 25 से रेगुलर बात होती है, ये एक्सेप्शन है. What I mean to say is ideally it's 2 or 3 or maybe 1, right? So what I mean to say is आप लोग एक दूसरे की शर्म मत रखना, शायद 2 महीने बाद आप भी कोई किसी को मिलोगे नहीं, है ना? तो कुछ डाउट हो, क्या कुछ सजेशन हो तो बता दो. Okay, then what shall I arrange? I'll arrange the language part in the first class and in the second class, some basics of array, okay?
Many professionals are also taking this course.
Yes.
I am a final year student, so I wanted to know only why these people are coming here. जबकि वो दूसरे जगह पर काम कर रहे हैं, RST के रोल में भी मैंने सुना कि तो वो क्यों आया है? मुझे ये जानना है।
No, but even the first year students are there. No, you didn't ask about them. So you are in between. Even the first year students are there. No, everyone they want to learn and upgrade. That's all. Everyone is here to learn and more.
मेरा बेसिकली क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि जैसे हम कहीं भी किसी कंपनी में जाते हैं तो वेब डेवलपमेंट या डेवलपमेंट क्लाउड में ही नई टेक्नोलॉजी होती है जिसमें हम काम कर रहे होते हैं।
Yes.
तो फिर वहाँ DSA only for shortlisting.
Mostly shortlisting, and when you write algorithms also, let's say you are displaying some items on Amazon based on the shorting of price. So there is some shorting algorithm written behind, na? There is some shorting happening, no? So how is it happening? There is something written there. When you open an application like Zoho, that's people management application, if you know, so there you can see the hierarchy, that under this person these people are working, under this person this many people are working. So how is that tree forming? There is some tree data structure which is used behind the code. So ultimately it boils down here, and if you are good to go with this, then they know that you will take less time in writing the code for that large application. That's why. Okay. And
किसी वेबसाइट को डिजाइन करते हैं तो वहाँ अगर
no, but designing is different thing, na?
जैसे आपने सॉर्टिंग कहा या फिर सेटिंग जो भी है जो हम जावास्क्रिप्ट के थ्रू मैप रेडियस वगैरह लगा रहे हैं
हाँ,
तो वो तो जावास्क्रिप्ट का पार्ट हुआ।
but you are implementing the same thing ना, shorting. अब बैकएंड में जावा यूज करोगे तो स्प्रिंग बूट यूज करोगे, जावा में शॉर्टिंग लिखोगे. And it's not always necessary that you use the built-in short functions, because if there is a little bit of modification, then you have to write your own short functions. Are you getting my point? If by default shorting will give you a particular output, but if you want to make some modifications in that, if you want to make a tree data structure and store the hierarchy, so you need to write code for that, right? And if experienced people are there here, then it's better. No, more the competition, more you will get motivation, you will even become better, right? And once you will get placed, will you apply somewhere further? Yes, so they might also be looking to apply somewhere further. So it's good if there are experienced people as well, so you have more competition, right? So that's even better, right? If you are the smartest person here, then you are in the wrong room. So it's good, you will learn a lot from them. Yes, you can maybe take a referral from them. Yeah, okay. So any doubt, anything else? Yes.
Basically, let me first introduce my scenario, sir. I'm able to solve.
Sorry?
I'm able to solve lead code medium level problem.
Okay.
In contest also I do better. In half an hour I'm able to solve first three problems.
Mhm.
Last problem I'm not able to solve. But I'm facing difficulties in tackling way rounds of product based companies. So, any suggestions for how can I prep for it? I don't want to get into CPC.
No, see, CP I do not differentiate with DSA. I just think it's an advanced application of DSA. And one of the things is you might not feel confident during the interviews. That may be one of the reason what I'm looking right now, because if you are saying that you are able to solve DSA questions on late code but not crack the interview, right? So when you give the interview, can you match the questions? Like, do you think it is something seen before? Like they are not out of the planet, na? You can at least think that these type of questions I've done before. So somewhere I think you need to increase your confidence, and uh, if you keep on doing, and one or twice if your interview goes well, you will get that confidence. Okay, so that might be a bit of nervousness because of your maybe starting interviews, nothing else. And otherwise I also want to know, do you perform consistently on late code or sometimes? Right, so one of the things can be that see, many a times the questions are very focused on particular topics, right? So if you are able to solve those topics but you have not covered other topics, maybe that may be the case. Are you getting my point? So you got the questions from that topics only for 2-3 consecutive contests and you performed well, right? Other thing could be you can give some mock interviews with your seniors who have got placed somewhere, right? That will increase. And I would suggest that after every interview you can also politely ask the interviewer that where can I improve and how was it. So mostly people tell you, sometimes they tell you that we give update only to the HR. In that case we can't help, but if they tell you, then you will get a feedback where you can improve, right?
Talk to few seniors of my college. So if you want to crack your way for like Amazon or Google, then you have to do CPO.
I don't know. CP, there are very few companies who ask really hard questions. One of them is Trilogy Innovations, which was initially called Code Nation. Otherwise, even the Google, Amazon, these are not asking anything like out of the box, right? Yes. Any more questions?
No question, sir. It's just that feedback. Like I really liked the session and the way you taught this question.
Thank
I
you.
know one question we covered, but it was easy to follow you and understand. Actually, I have tried learning DSA myself, but consistency I couldn't bring. So
Yeah, that I told in the starting of the session as well, right? Sometimes self-studying might not keep you very motivated. And yes, in the meeting also there are 5 6 people. You can introduce yourself, starting with Ankur.
yeah, so my name is Ankur Sisodia. I work for Bank of America. I have around 18 years of experience. I work as an AVP there.
Oh, okay.
I Java and Python both, but not C++ really. I
Okay.
did that in college time only. So that's why I couldn't recognize like vector is also there in C++, because vectors are there in Java also,
Okay.
but not replicated. But so I was just wondering if I
Okay.
yeah, just here to be consistent in the coding. Yeah,
Okay.
concept wise, you know things, but in terms of solving questions, I'm not that good. So I rate myself 3
Okay.
because complexities may be a lot in terms of coding.
Got it. Okay. Yes, Ayush.
Yes, sir. My name is Ayush. Actually, I graduated in 2021 and I've been looking for job in government sector. Since then, I have been unemployed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a bad state right now. And I would rate myself at like 2 or 3.
Okay. Jatin.
I deem myself Jatin. I have around 8 to 9 years experience in software development Java.
Okay.
And suddenly going with the layoff and all. So I'm looking for a job change in coming months.
Okay, got it. Utkarsh.
Hi, sir. I'm currently working at Cognizant as a QA, and I have a 2 year of experience, and I will rate myself as 3 to 5 in DSA.
Okay. Do you know in any ways Aman?
Aman, no.
Okay. He is also from Cognizant. He was in the last batch. Okay, no worries. Vishal.
Hello, my name is Vishal. I'm in my final year of my BTech, and I would rate myself 2 to 3.
Okay. Okay, Vishal, thank you. Yeah, so for the foundation class, I am thinking that we'll carry on with the first class would be on the language only, C++, and they will go with some loops, if else condition, function calls, etc. And in the next class, they will go with the arrays. Okay. So I would suggest attend the second class, okay, where they'll discuss the insertion, deletion of elements in an array, which is quite easy. And after that, from the next class we'll start with the time and space complexity here. Okay.
So in those classes, they will tell about actually the insert or like use the automated function.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. Like it will be like how do you add an element to a static array, right? If you want to add an, like we study the basic case, na, inserting element at the start and then random position. Those cases, okay, very simple cases, okay. And in the first class, along with the language, they might also discuss some pattern problems, okay, the star pattern and all, which you might remember we used to do, right? So that is just to get in the flow, and then we'll start with the time complexity. Okay. So any doubts, please let me know. Okay. It would be probably from 8 to 10, and you will get the notification for that. But it would be from 8 to 10 probably. Only 2 days. Then after that, foundation classes will not be there. It is just for someone to get in the flow with the language if they are not. Yes, and I would recommend you people to bring the laptop so that you can also try to implement on spot. Otherwise, you just can note down. बाकी code links and वो तो आपको मिल ही जाएगा. I will also share the notebook on which I'll write. Okay. So for example, whatever I have written here, I can share these notes with you. Okay. So I'll share it after the class. So no need to worry about that.
What about the sheet you showed?
Yeah, that I will share the link in the WhatsApp group or the community group so that you can access it. I'll give the access permission to all, and then you can access it. So you are talking about this, na? Yeah. So I'll give the access to that. Anything else? Please ask. No more questions? Okay, then we can end the sessions today, right? It was wonderful talking with you guys. Thank you for joining. And from next Saturday, we'll start the course with full energy. Okay, thank you.